Guys, I come to the office with bad news. You see, there's been a crime here, and it could be a crime of hatred, it could be a crime possibly for art, for entertainment, or it could be a crime of passion. Today, we talk about the murder of Blake Harrison.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
Today marks our first day, and marks one of our saddest days. You see, Blake Harrison has been murdered. Sadly, there's been no leads so far, but that is what we are here for today. We are here to get our leads and possibly help the police find the correct murderer. Alright. Shut the fuck up, Sam. Nobody cares. Stop talking. Alright. It all took place on a Tuesday afternoon. It was a normal day for Blake Harrison. He was going to work as he usually does on a Tuesday morning. You see, he works at the duck farm. You know, where our friend Ducky lives. Yeah, he was on his way to work, and sadly, we would never see him again. Well, alive. We wouldn't see him alive. We found his body in the farm. The ducks were eating him. So there was only 3 things found at the scene. First, a knife that had no fingerprints, so the suspect must not have been wearing gloves. I mean, he must have been wearing gloves.
Wow, man.
He wasn't wearing gloves. He just has no fingerprints.
He didn't leave fingerprints though.
Okay.
He just has no fingerprints, guys.
He has naturally no fingerprints. Yes, let's roll with that. He has naturally no fingerprints. We have deducted from the evidence because gloves don't exist yet.
This lived back in 1687.
He was murdered in the year 1342.
So, okay. Anyways, guys, it was found, and the next thing found at his death site was bloody feathers. Just bloody feathers, man.
We're assuming these are from Blake.
Yeah, we're assuming that they're from yeah, because he was a furry. Yeah, he just had like a duck costume. So, yeah, he just wore that every day to work. The last thing found at his death site, was candy, an extremely sour candy. So we know this guy really likes the sour candy.
That's great, man.
I disagree with him wholeheartedly.
Anyways, guys, break time, and I would welcome. We're selling peanut butter. We're selling nut butter cookies. So
Butter.
I'm selling nut butter cookies. So if you want some, buy some.
Right, but before we get to the next part of this Snort Cases episode, we would like to thank today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. In Raid Shadow Legends, players Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile game where you what do you do as a sponsor?
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. And in Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile game for iOS and Android, and also the GameCube, where you work as Mert Gaming. you play as Mert Gaming, and you're working to take down Russia and the Soviet Union in World War II. And you kill Jake. They paid me $35 for this ad read. Back to the Snort Cases file.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
I would love to thank our sponsor, which we would love to thank our totally real sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, for that.
$35 for this ad read.
Anyways, back to the show. Basically, he was a normal guy, and he got murdered. And I just don't know how to feel about this case, man, because just the way he died was so gruesome. Like, it looked like he had barely been stabbed at all, but he was stabbed.
There was like one drop of blood on the ground, and there was a tiny slit in his throat that looked like a paper cut. This is the most brutal and gruesome crime scene I've ever seen in my entire life, and I would not wish this sight upon anyone. I have night terrors about this, genuinely. At his funeral, that is being held this coming Wednesday. He's been dead since 1342, but his funeral is being held this Wednesday. Okay, I hope at his funeral a tractor comes in. Much love and respect for the families of this victim, but like also I want to see all of them get run over by a tractor.
Same.
Anyways, guys, back to the murder case. Basically, Blake was just walking down to the pet store.
He was walking down to the pet store when he saw a dog in his path, and he thought it was kind of strange, because it wasn't in the pet store. It was just on the street. It was just on the dirt path, because this was 1342, right? And so he picked up the dog, and he was just like, you know what? Now I won't have to pay money for this because it's out on the street. No one's gonna see me take it. So he took the dog to his house, right? And he took it and he adopted it, and he named it And so he had this dog named Jake, and it was his best friend anyone could ever ask for. And the family of Blake Harrison stated that this was like the closest bond he had ever had with any living creature ever. He shut out his entire family and all of his friends, and he cut contact with everyone, and he decided he was gonna go marry his dog.
You're gonna marry what?
What he did was he didn't want anyone at his wedding judging him, and he didn't think any pastor or whatever the fuck whoever weds them can do a good enough job as a wedding. I do this every Tuesday, honestly, so I don't really see why people are. I don't really understand why people are hating on him for this, by the way. It doesn't really make sense. Like, I thought everyone did this. But anyways, so he was at the wedding alone with his dog, right? And he was about to lean in to smooch his...
It's a funny little man right here. I am not fucking editing that. Okay, so basically, let me tell you what happened, alright? So, but
the dog ran away, and he couldn't find it again. And he was so depressed and miserable for months after. So he went to the duck factory, right? And this is when the murder takes place. Now, the reasons he went to the duck factory specifically is, like Hector said, he was a huge fucking furry. And so, he wanted to, and that is why he wanted to marry his dog. And, and he decided he was going to go marry a duck as a replacement because the duck was his fucking persona. It was a duck, so he decided I have to be with the duck. So he went to the duck factory to try and pick one out, and this is when the murder took place. Hector, can you explain how the murder took place? Because I don't remember.
I think I have some of the most. I think I have the most knowledge about this murder case right here. So basically, what happened was he went inside of the factory and magically, mysteriously, nobody had saw him go into this factory. All right, there was like over 300 child labor. None of them saw him. He just snuck in somehow. Even
They're
though
all making my iPad, by the way. That's
he somehow ran in there with his big furry costume and just waltzed right past the children. In fact, there was one witness that actually saw him, and they said, "I no speak English," so he's not very much of help. But with the Chinese translator, the translator said, "I saw him. I saw him walk in, and he's dead when I saw him." But the one witness said that there was lunch to be smelled in the air.
Funny Little Man Part 2 here. I don't know how I'm gonna say this without being racist like Hector was, but, so you know how he said that, he smells like lunch or something like that? And he's from, like, China? I think you get my point, man. Not to mention, Hector also stated that they like dogs too. Guess who was a dog?
Could it possibly be that Jake, the dog, went into the factory where Blake was in, and he murdered him? Could it be that the dog that Blake Harrison had bought, no, not even bought, stolen off of the grounds of the pet store? Could it have been the dog?